This is WPTV.
Welcome back to the desk. Both the men and the women's basketball team handled their business. Now both will be appearing in this year's NJAC tournament. Now we'll start things off with the women who got a win over Kean University. But Justin, was it the cleanest win? Both teams almost seemed like they were trying to lose, would you say?
I think it is fair to say if we take a look at the numbers from the game, you guys are going to understand exactly what I was talking about. I think it was a favorable matchup for William Patterson, but I don't think they really took advantage of the matchup. They got the win. It helped them out in the seeding as they moved up in the standings to make sure they can have some kind of advantage. We take a look at the numbers here. They won the game by 6, 60-54, but let's just look at the numbers real quick. The Pioneers shot 9% from downtown. They're not a great three-point shooting team, but this is well below season average, I promise. 32% from the field, 24 turnovers for William Patterson. You would think that'd be pretty bad, right? But Kean takes the cake as they had 31 turnovers. They shot 35% from the field and 25% from downtown. It was an ugly game to say the least, but in the last 2 minutes, you have to give credit to the Pioneers because they finally showed that they're the better team. They took over and got a convincing win.
Yeah, the saying's normally anything you can do, I can do better. This game might be anything you do bad, I can do worse. Justin, what did you take away from the game?
Clearly the three-point percentage was the problem, where if you're only shooting 9%, that is god-awful, and you have to try and figure out a different way to score. Even their total percentage was below 40%, which as a team you want in the mid-40s. Obviously, shooting was a problem too at the same point, so you want to try and fix that.
Yeah, offensively, they were lost. The only offense that they could create was off of Kean's turnovers or Tori Wetzel in the half court. And in the last 2 minutes, Justin, you touched on it, she was very important to sealing this win. She was the only one hitting free throws, it seemed like, as well. So without her, I don't know where William Patterson would have been in this game.
Philip, what did you take away from this game?
Well, I mean, you guys pretty much said it. The 9% three-point shooting is a sore on the box score, clearly. I mean, any team that shoots less than 10% and wins it, I mean, clearly Kean gave up 34 or 31 turnovers. What was it, 31, 34? Yeah, 31. So, I mean, that basically they got bailed out. The Pioneers got bailed out by their poor play, holding the ball, and, I mean, they got lucky with the win.
What I'm hoping for is that they got their poor play out of the way. And luckily, they won't be playing Montclair State. The first and second seed in the tournament, they both get a bye for men and women. So we won't be seeing them to the second round if they get there. But hopefully they get their poor play out of the way because this was easily the worst performance I've ever seen the women play this year. And they've been solid all year long, but they were not good. They just were not good against Kean.
As you just mentioned, the NJAC tournament, the Pioneers will have a first-round matchup against Rowan University. They have faced twice this season. We'll take a look at the numbers from their matchups when the William Patterson Pioneers did take on Rowan University. William Patterson averaging 63.5 points per game, while Rowan with an impressive 84.5 points per game. Rowan going 2-0 against William Patterson, obviously going 0-2. The three-point percentage, William Patterson shooting 9%. In their last game, well, in the two matchups, not too great. 27.5 for William Patterson, 42.5 for Rowan. And the field goal percentage, a little close. Turnovers per game, also a little close. But the most important, 2-0 for Rowan, 0-2 for William Patterson. Justin, we'll start with you. Rowan definitely had the advantage in the two games. Does William Patterson still have a chance in this matchup against Rowan?
I think so. They lost a big one earlier in the season. They lost the first matchup 99-70, and it wasn't that much better than the second matchup. I think it was in January. They lost 70-48. But I think this team has come a long way. I think they've gotten a lot better. The game they lost against Rowan was on the heels of a 5-game win streak the second time around. So I think the team overall has improved. And like I said before, hopefully got their poor play out of the way against Kean University, a game that didn't matter too much. And they bring their AAA game because they're going to really need Julie Ravito and Tori Wetzel to step up.
Just to go off of Justin, the team did improve a lot because you see Julie Ravito, as he mentioned, also CC Green step more into like a role player role and get either more minutes as well as they score more in double digits. So the team as a whole has improved.
Now we're going to go over to the men's side of the things. They had a very impressive game. Chris Douglas, what went on with the men and how impressive did they look?
Well, the men started out really well, had a very good first half, and had an even better second half. We're going to look at the numbers here. The game ended up being 78-61. The Pioneers took home the victory. Shot pretty decent from three. We've seen them shoot better, 30%. Held Kean to only 21%. Free throws went down, 75%. And then the turnovers, William Patterson lost that battle. They lost the turnover battle, -3 on that ratio. But overall, it was a good game, and what impressed me the most was the second half and the effort from Richie Espinal throughout the entire game.
Richie Espinal and Dabo Badmos were nothing short of fantastic in that game. Every single time they pulled up from 15 off the dribble, I was convinced it was going in, and maybe they missed 2 attempts from 15 feet. They were lights out. Badmos' increase in three-point percentage this year has been fantastic. He's taken his game to the absolute next level. He's just averaged under 15 points a game. And now he's shooting over 40% from 3. He's so versatile on offense because he's too strong down low for most point guards, and he's too quick on the perimeter. So he's a matchup nightmare. If he plays well, we can see a lot of action from him in the NJAC.
Justin, what'd you see?
Along with Richie Espinal, we've seen him have multiple 20-point performances at this point. But along with that, he's also great on the defensive side of the ball, either getting a key steal or rebound just to start the fast break offense.
Yeah, I mean, Richie and Dapo are clearly the 2 key guys for the Pioneers. I mean, Justin, you talked about Dapo. If this guy gets in isolation, he loves that pull-up, and he's so strong on the inside, he can just take out anyone. If he gets a switch, he's going to beat them to the rim. Richie, just a beast on both ends. I mean, the guy is so strong, so athletic, he can work his way inside. He has a great 15-foot jumper, and on defense, he blocks shots, he rebounds, he steals. I mean, the guy's an overall star.
Now, the men we did mention are going to be playing in the NJAC tournament. Their first matchup is against NJCU, who's a very good team. They did beat William Patterson in 2 meetings earlier in the season, averaging 94 points in those games. Big numbers to allow on defense if you're William Patterson. 3-point shooting percentage in favor of the Gothic Knights, 43.6% compared to William Patterson's 39.3%. Field goal percentage, landslide towards the Gothic Knights. And turnovers, not too bad, but again, same thing as the women. The most important statistic, William Patterson, 0-2, NJCU, 2-0. Justin, we'll start with you. Can William Patterson's men's team do what the women also need to do and upset an opponent?
I firmly believe they can. NJCU's had a great season. You got to give them some credit. But their 2 games versus William Patterson, I kind of felt like they were fluke games where NJCU played extremely well. Most importantly, in the second matchup, they put up 100 points on the Pioneers, but they were hitting every single shot in the gym, and it was incredible to watch. I believe they shot over 60% from the field and from 3. Like, they were hitting everything. And one player that had to make sure they stopped is Sam Toney from the Gothic Knights. He has a little bit of an advantage. From what I understand, he's in his mid-20s, so he has the grown man advantage on the rest of our Pioneers. But I firmly believe, as long as the Gothic Knights aren't out there shooting 60% from the field, the Pioneers can get a win.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for William Patterson Sports. Make sure you do hit the road to support our Pioneers this Saturday as the women play at 1 p.m. and the men play at 3 p.m. You can find information and scores at WPUPioneers.com. Up next, Joe Rea and the baseball crew are back. We'll see you.